Hi. Hello, it is Laurel. I'm at the Lowry Nature Center today. I am in doing animal care, so I figured I'd take a quick break to introduce you to our gopher snake, or bull snake. This one is named Toro. This is one of our animals that does have a name. And Toro, let me pull my chair up here, lives in the tank behind me. I thought I would hold this guy up close so you guys can take a look. See if Toro will do a little close up here. Check out the super cool little stripe over the eyes. And then, as Toro is moving around here, take a look at the scales also and the pattern. What do you guys notice about the scales? I know color isn't perfect on video, but what do you guys notice about the colors, the patterns? And bring this up a little bit. I'm going to flip Toro around so you can hopefully see the scales by my hand. Those are the belly scales. Or even better, let me go like this. There, some belly scales. So the scales up close to you now. You can see the difference between the scales on the back of the snake and on the snake's belly. They look totally different. Little different texture, little different shape. So, that is an extreme close-up here. I'm going to bring Toro's face up a little closer too. Do you guys see the forked tongue? The tongue has 2 points on it. Snakes use that tongue in order to basically smell their environment. They have a specialized organ in the roof of their mouth called the Jacobson's organ that takes scent molecules in, and it allows them to analyze it very quickly and very accurately and kind of figure out a scent trail. Where we might look for a footprint trail, these guys, if you're hunting in a burrow underground, it's not light enough for you to use your vision very well, so scent becomes really, really important. Toro is bundled up on my hand here, and it looks like I have a big knot of snake. I kind of do, but one of the questions we get from kiddos quite a bit is, do snakes have bones? What do you guys think? Take a close look. Now it kind of looks like maybe not. I know no matter how much stretching I do, I'm never going to be that flexible, but snakes do indeed have a skeleton. In fact, it's almost the same blueprint we have. The main difference is all of this along the back, right underneath this section of skin, all the way down the body of the snake, you would find the vertebrae. So snakes are vertebrates. They have a backbone just like us. They have a skeleton just like us. And that skeleton, because it has so many vertebrae, it makes them super flexible. Now, that doesn't sound, I mean, it's cool, but it doesn't sound like that big a deal until you think about where this snake lives. Gopher snakes or bull snakes are snakes that live out in the prairie, and they are hunting for gophers. They are very good at getting into the dens underground and eating gophers, particularly the young. That's probably the favorite food for this snake. In order to do that, they have to get into some pretty tight spots. So not having arms or legs is really helpful for that. The other thing that's interesting, if you think about, have you ever gone running into tall grass prairie? I have. I'll let you know it didn't go very well for me because I had to work really, really hard to get very far in that tall grass prairie. But if you are one of these guys, you are able to move between all those dense stems very easily because there's nothing on your body to get hung up on the stems. Works really, really well. Where we see an animal without legs, without arms, initially I'd be like, wow, that's got to be really difficult to move around, because for me, it would be very difficult to move around. But when your body is this long and this flexible, all of a sudden it becomes an advantage to get into some really interesting habitat areas. So, many snakes are good tree climbers. Our fox snake is a good tree climber. Snakes are good swimmers. Our garter snakes, if you're ever out on the trails around Lowry Nature Center, you might see garter snakes swimming in the water. Almost all snakes can swim. This one probably could, but the area where it lives is a much drier type of habitat. Tall grass prairies and short grass prairies tend to get a little bit less rainfall than where we're at. Speaking of where we're at in Minnesota, prairies are the most endangered habitat probably throughout North America, certainly in Minnesota, because our prairies have been converted into farmland. Prairies develop the deepest, richest topsoil layers of any place in the world, and most of that is under cultivation. Ooh, the snake is chilly. That is the type of habitat that this critter would have lived in. So, let's see, what else? Besides gophers, this one would eat mice. It might eat squirrels or ground squirrels, birds, bird eggs, frogs, any small animals. And when the snake is a baby, when it's smaller, it would probably be opportunistic. So whatever it found might become one of its meals. Its lifespan would be about 15, maybe 10 to 15 years in the wild. And in captivity, we had a gopher snake that lived to be over 20 years old. So in captivity, they tend to live longer because there's no other animals out hunting them. I have a little snake pretzel here. Toro's just hanging out. Fun fact, these guys can produce the loudest hiss of any snake. So, and one of the other names for this snake is bull snake. That is because they can be a little aggressive. So if you come up to a bull snake and you surprise it, you're both surprised. This snake, it's not going to come after you, but it is going to make its presence known by hissing. Move around a little bit so that you can see it. And it also is able to rattle its tail. There's its tail right here. And you see there's no rattle on this tail. Toro's like, what are you doing? No rattle on the tail. But what the snake is able to do is find a little area of dry grass or leaves, and it will rattle its tail against those materials. And that is a warning to you to stay back. This is not a venomous snake. One of the ways you can tell, I'm picking it up. I'm not going to pick up a venomous snake. But if you look at how wide its head is compared to its neck, the head and the neck are almost the same width. And the only venomous snake that we have in Minnesota, we have a couple, very, very few, is the timber rattlesnake. And the shape of the head is much different. It has a wider jaw. That is so it can house the fangs that it would use to bite. And so when you transition from the jaw to the neck, it goes from wide down to narrow. And this one, the head is the same width as the neck. The other thing that works in Minnesota is if you look at the eyes, you guys can see the round pupil. That black part is the pupil. Snakes in this part of the world, if they have a round pupil, you're okay. If they have a vertical pupil like a cat, timber rattlesnakes have that, that is an indication that it is a venomous snake. Oh, in Three Rivers Park District, Carver Park Reserve does have some prairies, but our soils are very filled with clay, and it doesn't support prairie plants. There's only one park within the district that I know of that has bull snakes, and that is up at Crowhessen Park Reserve. And we have been on hikes there and found them. It is very uncommon. So thank you for joining me to meet our super cool gopher snake ambassador here at the Nature Center. When we're open again, this animal lives in one of our classrooms, so you could stop in and say hello to that and our other reptiles and amphibians. Until then, have a fantastic week. While you're out hiking, please be kind to our reptiles that are coming out of hibernation and moving around. Again, in this area, you have absolutely no one to worry about. So, one last look here, and then see you later. Until next time, bye.